He recognizes Choi Chul-sung, the general guild head, who once fought beside him in the final dungeon. Though never a close comrade, Choi was nonetheless part of his team. Now that same individual has turned on him, but Lee feels no betrayal, understanding the world operates on self-interest. As additional lichens develop, Lee finds that as some die, new ones spawn to keep their number fixed. This dungeon permits 25 at a time, which advantages him. He takes the net from the Tide players and mutters that Chul-sung should understand why his men must die, then throws them toward the charging lichens. The dungeon admits only 5 people at once, thus when one group dies, others can enter. Soon new gamers enter and find the severed heads of their comrades. Rage propels them forward, but Lee overcomes them quickly and binds them as well. When he demands to know which lichen bears the skill stone, one confesses it is the one with white eyebrows. Their immediate cooperation reveals how terror has broken them. Lee searches and finds the wounded lichen. He tears it open with his own hands, blood and flesh scattering around. Disgusted, he thinks that Min-soo should handle similar work in the future. Inside, he finds the stone holding the stealth skill. The convicts murmur that it is the same skill used by a hero in the final dungeon and regret losing the chance to claim it. Lee considers selling the stone for wealth, but decides otherwise. Since the game began, power has stood above all. He remembers his orphaned youth and the wars he survived. True power now rests within his reach, and he will seize it to forge a new history. He swallows the stone, but a message states that the skill is locked until level 10. Frustration builds, as his current level is 6. Determined, he resolves to grow stronger. He utilizes his 102 bonus points to boost strength, raising it to 289. Knowing the guild soldiers wait outside, he believes a direct combat would be risky. To stay safe, he saves one lichen so the dungeon remains open. More will spawn, enabling him train further. With his tremendous power, even a level 5 lichen provides little problem. He focuses on restraining his power to prevent killing them too rapidly. After persistent combat, he reaches level 10. The stealth talent unlocks, and he utilizes it, turning his hand transparent while his clothes stay visible. The athletes say that at higher levels, even garments vanish. Lee checks his skills and sees progress levels beside each. When they confirm that full invisibility starts at level 2, he removes his garments and activates the talent again. He knows these players came for the same skill he previously possessed in his past existence. If they had succeeded, they would have killed him for it. As he prepares to go, lichens close in around the tethered players, who cry for mercy. Lee asks them to keep silent and goes away without looking back. Outside the gate, the mob notices it has opened again. They whisper, wondering who perished and who will go next. At the same time, Lee steps out unobserved under stealth. Watching the restless folks, he mutters that the view is worth seeing. Then he finds Min-soo, taps his shoulder, and tells him to be quiet before pointing toward a taxi for them to take. Later, while scanning through the news, Lee hears accounts about his return and the lichen dungeon incident. The headlines describe his hunting approach alarming and display the bodies of 8 general guild members murdered by lichens. Min-soo shows him a live feed where anchors discuss Lee's appearance. One recounts his calm assurance before the final dungeon in their previous existence, when he lifted his middle finger to reporters and became a symbol of defiance. They now debate if his fame comes exclusively from that approach or something else. The debate switches when Park Jong-sik, chairman of the Player Skills and Technology Association, joins the show. He argues that the instant Lee came in the lichen dungeon, the game practically finished. His statement creates controversy, and even Lee is astonished. Anchors accuse Jong-sik of sowing confusion, but he maintains resolute. He explains that his team analyzed the lichen bodies and discovered each skull caved in by a single hit. Given the toughness of lichen bones, such power could only come from a level 40 player with all points in strength. When asked if special equipment could explain it, Jong-sik dismisses it, saying no known item could produce that sort of harm. Holding out a fungus head, he points at the wound and alleges Lee Hwa-yoon crushed their heads with a flick of his finger. Some anchors joke, others demand his resignation. Lee notes that individuals disputing Jong-sik's words are people with wealth and influence, guilds, associations, and industries earning from the game. They fear the truth will ruin morale and harm profitability. Jong-sik closes by adding that if the game reaches its final level again, Lee will undoubtedly be among those who finish it. The anchors ignore his assertion. However, one playfully relates Lee's earlier gesture to his current authority. Lee mutters in surprise and queries how she got an anchor. He reflects that his path today differs from his past existence. Only his strength remains the same. He recognizes that without greater levels, stats alone are pointless. He could not access the Lichen dungeon or employ stealth properly at first because of level constraints. To grow stronger, he needs more experience. Determined, Lee begins searching lichens in another dungeon. What once seemed fulfilling now feels dull. He mutters that he is weary of them and wants something new. Minsu advises that this is still the best hunting ground, but Lee wonders about the next dungeon. Minsu mentions the level 14 Blue Monkey dungeon, albeit no player can enter it yet, as only 5 days have elapsed. Lee sees an opportunity. If no one can enter, then the blue monkeys will emerge on their own. Minsu recalls how dangerous they were in their prior existence. Lee recognizes it can be hazardous, but stays confident. With bonus points comparable to what others would get at over 100 levels, he believes that in front of true strength, no monster matters. Those who never awakened as players did not regress. However, they already know the blue monkeys will soon emerge and destroy everything. 6 days after the game began, no one is powerful enough to fight such monsters. Lee and Minsu walk into an underground parking lot. The silence feels thick. Minsu confesses he has only seen blue monkeys on the news, but knows how terrible they are. They stand above level 10, can attack from afar, and can impersonate people. A car horn suddenly rings in the distance, and Minsu assumes the monsters are toying with it. Lee notes that they had already escaped the gate. He opens his status window and moves all 251 extra points into agility, boosting it to 578. In a blur, he vanishes toward the beasts. Minsu stares in disbelief, knowing that even one hit from a blue monkey may kill him. Lee cuts through the demons with ease. Their attempt to retreat fails as the regulations bar them from re-entering the dungeon. He sees fear in their eyes, the same fear humans express when death is nigh. Minsu thinks it weird that creatures once dreaded by humanity now flee in fright. Grinning, Lee pursues them down, knowing that constant leveling is the only way to stay in the game. Without it, he will lose access to dungeons and skills. When he checks again, he has attained level 17 with 202 bonus points. Minsu is shocked that he gained so much in 6 days, but Lee feels fatigue seeping in. His limited stamina cannot balance his speed and strength anymore. He adds all points into stamina, boosting it to 213, and resumes the fight. The blue monkeys toss debris at him, but nothing slows him down. When the last one falls, Minsu stares in awe, realizing that if anyone witnessed this, they would lose their wits. Lee then remembers the security cameras filming everything. Standing near the gate, Minsu advises destroying it. He explains that if it continues open, more monsters will spawn, making it a farming area that keeps stronger ones from arriving. Lee agrees the blue monkeys are now too feeble to provide him significant growth. He merely came since no higher dungeon exists yet. Minsu adds that clearing dungeons opens stronger ones, and mankind never permits weaker gates to stay. Lee asks if this means defeating more dungeons will merely make life worse for others. Minsu agrees, pointing out that Lee just cleared a level 14 gate in 6 days, something that took nearly a month in their former lives. When Lee wonders how he knows, Minsu shows him an app where players post dungeon records and strategies. The first clear time becomes official, and top players win national recognition. Hearing this, Lee decides to post their record under the name Fearless, a term that denotes without fear. Minsu accepts and uploads it. Soon, the forums explode with excitement and worry about the advent of level 15 dungeons. Meanwhile, inside a nearby shelter, residents watch the transmission. A tiny child asks her mother when they may go home. The woman claims it will take 29 days. Then a man shouts that the dungeon has been emptied. People declare him a liar until the screens light up with images of Lee fighting the blue monkeys. Cheers fill the hall as they realize it is true. On the player site, everyone discovers the new name Fearless. No one knows who he is, but it doesn't matter. To the people watching, a new hero has appeared. Lee and his pal travel along the road, recalling the events of their past lives. His friend recalls that the level 15 dungeon was cleared 41 days after the game began, but it happened in Japan, where the crimson-eyed horse appeared. Korea too had a level 15 gate, although no one was strong enough to clear it. When Lee asks about their next monster, his pal tells it is a level 15 enormous bear. He says that monsters below level 20 are not threatening since they lack skills. However, higher levels take longer to vanquish. He remembers that 71 days once transpired between the clearing of the level 19 and level 20 dungeons. As they continue walking, his friend wonders if 300 kilometers is too far. Lee adds that each step offers him bonus points, thus walking itself is beneficial. This makes his pal consider that even modest actions can alter the future. Dropping a pen or avoiding a bug might influence what would have happened. So Lee walks carefully, conscious that every choice impacts his path. A truck suddenly honks behind them. The driver yells and curses, urging them to move aside. Lee answers quietly, but the man starts shouting and speeds up. Anger rushes across Lee's face, and before his companion can stop him, Lee departs. He catches up to the vehicle, confronting the driver, and warns him to control his temper if he wants to live. The motorist apologizes swiftly, and Lee lets it go, choosing peace over wrath. As they resume their trek, Lee realizes the dungeons are opening faster than previously. This gives him a chance to deepen the distance between himself and others. Those with memories of the past are losing their edge, while he continues to grow stronger on his own. The scene transitions to the battle within the level 15 dungeon. A big bear towers over Lee. He knows that once level 20 monsters come, they will start using skills, so he must grow stronger quickly. The bear attacks hard, driving him back, but he dodges and climbs its arm. With a surge of strength, he crushes its neck and watches it collapse. More animals rush in, but he defeats them all. Meanwhile, disputes spread online about who cleared the level 14 dungeon. Some think it was Lee Huiyun. Others say Park Mu-sung. His companion reports that a level 16 dungeon has previously been cleared by Poison Choi, whose real name is Choi Chol-sung. He was once one of the men who entered the ultimate dungeon with Lee. Lee muses that Choi must have obtained a remarkable skill from his prior life. His acquaintance recalls that Choi was the Poison King and commander of the strongest guild in Korea, the General Guild. Lee remembers how Choi once tried to steal his stealth skill and determines he must move quicker. When Lee asks about Choi's weapon, his companion recalls a black dagger previously belonging to the Golden Leopard, a level 20 monster from Korea. Lee dismisses the memory, focused exclusively on his own progress. His friend updates him that the level 17 and 18 dungeons have been cleared on January 9th and 10th. As they depart another dungeon, Lee asks about the upcoming ones. The level 19 dungeon lies near Gangnam Station, and the level 21 dungeon will open at Yeodong Park in Bundang. Lee notes it would take roughly 30 minutes to go there without traffic. His companion feels happy because the location has less people, but Lee tells him that even if throngs appear, no one can enter. Only he can claim the weapon again. Now at level 21, Lee holds 744 bonus points. He directs all of them into strength, raising it to 1,033. A system notification emerges, reporting that his strength has crossed 1,000 for the first time. He obtains a new title, King of Strength, and gains the Petrify skill, which freezes an opponent for 3 seconds. Testing the technique on his pal proves its power. His companion compares Lee's strength to that of Yang Xiongwei, the Emperor of China, who formerly led all players there and cleared many dungeons. Lee asks if his new skill is the same as the Emperor's, and his companion confirms it. Lee then asks his friend to go to Yeodong Park and monitor who gathers there. Meanwhile, he will clear the level 19 dungeon at Gangnam Station. Min-soo accepts and vows to call him if anything unexpected happens. With that, they part ways, each moving toward their next assignment. Lee waits before the level 19 date, knowing he must clear it to enter the level 20 Golden Leopard dungeon. The place is packed with crimson-eyed moles. He recalls that the level 20 gate will open if any level 19 dungeon is cleared, but as no one else seems capable, he decides to take on the task himself. Soldiers surround the area, overseeing the evacuation. One of them stops Lee and demands for identification. Lee acknowledges he has none. A mole suddenly breaks out of the earth, and the troops fire, but their bullets do nothing. The soldier begs him to flee, but Lee calmly explains that guns cannot kill such monsters. When asked if he is a player, he nods. Another mole surfaces behind them. Lee activates his Petrify skill, freezing it aloft, then crushes its neck. Seeing this, the soldier stands aside and lets him through. Inside, Lee studies the dungeon. The moles are not only tough but smart, hiding deep down. Knowing he cannot dig them out, he takes the blue monkey's fur from his inventory. Burning it creates toxic smoke that lures monsters. The vapors spread through the burrows, causing the moles to surface. Lee catches each one and kills them effortlessly. Soon, all 15 lie dead. A system message emerges proclaiming the dungeon's clearance, and the gates crumble in 3 minutes. His phone rings. Minsu warns that reporters have encircled the Golden Leopard dungeon. Lee orders him to drive them away and claims he will arrive soon. Minsu considers it unusual that the General Guild has not shown up, despite knowing about Lee's stealth talent. Lee decides they are avoiding him because they know crossing paths with him brings death. Lee leaves the soldiers behind and drives to Yuledong Park. When he comes, the venue is crowded. Annoyed, he contacts Minsu, reminding him he was supposed to clear the area. Minsu explains he tried, but no one listened. Lee steps out, determined to handle it himself. As soon as the media discover him, they rush forward chanting his name. Questions fly from every direction. Some criticize him for reducing player morale. Others accuse him of causing havoc with his rapid dungeon clears. Some even beg for autographs and photos. The cacophony grinds on him. After years of conflict, he has learnt to respect silence. He peers at the gathering and states that weakness is not a fault, but blaming others for it is. Those who do should rot in hell. His strong comments silence the crowd for a moment. Then one reporter brings up Boward, a Canadian player who once entered the final dungeon. Boward has suggested Lee is strong today, but will be the weakest among high-level players eventually. Lee wonders which channel has the highest ratings. When they point to one reporter, he turns toward the camera, raises his middle finger, and delivers his answer to Boward. Lee goes into the Golden Leopard dungeon, where 7 golden leopards prowl. The dungeon permits only 2 players and carries a B+ difficulty, known for granting rare goods. He recalls that hunting these animals normally takes 2 strong players, and B+ dungeons are seldom easy. One leopard roars and stuns him. He expected this, knowing the roar prohibits him from using talents for a moment. Without his abilities, he must fight differently. When another leopard charges, he evades its claws, mindful that even a scratch may be lethal. He activates his stealth, going unobserved through the battlefield. From the shadows he strikes rapidly, concentrating on speed and precision rather than protection. Realizing that grappling is his only option, he seizes a leopard and slams it to the ground. The conflict carries on, yet he perseveres. Finally, all 7 animals fall. A system message declares the dungeon cleared, and he examines his inventory. Inside lies a dagger titled the Dagger of Destruction. Its description claims it channels the energy of its wielder's skills. Lee equips it, noticing that it has no fixed stats, yet exudes great power. Activating armor, he sees the dagger gain the same skill. When he turns invisible, the blade disappears with him. Its strength develops with his own, just as it did in his prior existence. Satisfied, he prepares to depart as the gate begins to crumble. Outside, a mob of reporters swarms him again. They yell his name and bombard him with questions about Fearless, the dungeon, and his sword. Their noise annoys him. He notices Minsu nearby, apologizing for failing to clear the area. Lee understands. His pal lacks the influence to stop them. He notices something weird. No players have appeared. Normally, many would rush here to steal his loot or skills, yet none have come. The concept unsettles him. Then a reporter rings out, asking when he will obtain the special skill Eye of the God. Lee freezes, bewildered, as he had never heard of it. His friend signals him after hearing the name Eye of the God, reminding Lee that it was once his skill. Reporters close in, asking to know his stats and level. Lee says calmly that he is level 24, with a strength of 1033. Silence falls. He declares that he is outside the law, and warns that if anyone bothers him again, he would murder them.